So how's everybody doing? It's Hank, DJ, and Ricky with the Two Birds and a Third Football Podcast 2017 season preview podcast for you guys. I'm very excited to be doing this. I know that Ricky and DJ are bouncing off the wall enthused about the start of the NFL season soon, and the preseason was started yesterday, the Hall of Fame game, which this year happened to be a part of the preseason schedule now that the NFL didn't mess everything up. So let's get into this.
Alrighty, let's go.
One.
I'm ready.
Okay,
Let's do it.
so to start off, we're going to go through the AFC, and then we'll go into the NFC. So to start off, AFC North. As of 2016, there was only one playoff team, that being the Pittsburgh Steelers. This division came down to the end pretty much. You know, even though the record might not necessarily show it, the Pittsburgh Steelers won the division pretty much towards the end. They went on one heck of a run. I believe they won like 7 or 8 games in a row to win the division. So Pittsburgh right now looks like the front runner in that division. The second team that I see challenging them is Baltimore, followed by Cincinnati and Cleveland. So what do you guys think about these teams going into the 2017 season?
I think the Browns are going to win the Super Bowl.
Go ahead.
I said I think the Browns are going to win the Super Bowl. I'm just kidding. So I actually do agree with Josh and DJ in their assessment that the Cincinnati Bengals are going to take a hit, but I don't think it's going to be because of Andy Dalton. You know, I think that I actually have a lot of respect for Andy Dalton, the Ginger Ninja.
Ninja.
I see him being, like, I've always stood there and said that he reminds me a lot of Drew Brees before he went to New Orleans. Like, he always reminded me of a guy who could really get things started with a team, but whose talents really get weighed down by a god-awful coaching staff, you know, and a lot of penalties, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I can see that. I really can. I can't trust a guy whose offensive coordinator was – I know he had a few other ones before then, but he really flourished under Hugh Jackson's system. I feel that now that he's left, there's a gaping hole in that offensive coordinator position.
Yeah.
Marvin Lewis is just a head coach. He's not going to help. He's not a quarterback whisperer. He's nothing like that. In my opinion,
he is the second longest tenured head coach in the NFL, though.
Yeah,
but tenure doesn't mean tenure does not equal success.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry, getting ousted in the first round of the playoffs each one of the times you made the playoffs, that's not a track record. That's just a owner who's very comfortable with the head coach and doesn't see the need to fire someone who doesn't rock the boat. That's what you're looking at with Marvin.
Listen,
Lewis.
Out of the entire AFC, I think the AFC, well, arguably, I personally don't think, but I think the AFC North is one of the most competitive divisions in the AFC alongside the South as of what's been transpiring there, and we'll get there in a bit. Mm-hmm. But I think Pittsburgh is a very complete team. They have the franchise quarterback in Roethlisberger, and you know, as long as he's there and stays healthy, this Pittsburgh team will win the division. They have no challengers outside of the Ravens. And as long as Pittsburgh does not start off slow and can stay, you know, I know they finished the year with the 7-game winning streak, but, you know, in the position they were at, no one thought they were going to win the division, and they can't let that happen again.
You're right. So, and I'm going to piggyback on Josh on this one real quick. As we go down from the top of the AFC North, the smart pick is Pittsburgh. If you have money, bet on Pittsburgh. But I have this feeling, this inkling, the Baltimore Ravens have been down for a while. Their defense might not be what it used to be, but, I think the mainstay as John Harbaugh as the head coach, I think I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think, and I really hope that the Ravens overtake the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have it also ranked. Those are the 1 and 2. So Pittsburgh and Baltimore going at it. I have Cincinnati down the very bottom. I think Cincinnati's going to be in for a surprise here. I'm looking at a 3 or 4 and 12 record. I think the Browns are going to squeak away here, and I think they're going to be the team the most underrated team in the NFL. They're going to win 8 games this year. I know that's a lot to say. That's a lot, and I know nobody's going to believe me. But I have them listed as Baltimore 1, Pittsburgh 2, Cleveland 3, and Cincinnati down at 4 of the cellar. I don't think that.
I have Cleveland winning. I have Cleveland winning 6 or 7 games. But the thing is, again, the main issue with the Cincinnati Bengals is not even their coordinators. It's just the mere fact that they lack discipline on their team. You know,
it's just the aura of that organization.
Vontaze Burfict is like, one more hit away from being suspended, one more illegal hit away from being suspended.
I think he just had one with his team.
Yeah, I thought he just had it. Yeah.
I thought he like illegally hit Giovanni Bernard or Jeremy
something
Hill,
like that.
one of those guys.
I don't even know. But so I want to try and move on because we got to try and get to some of this quick.
Yeah.
So to end off this note, who do we have winning the AFC North or any playoff teams? I'll start. Me personally, I got Pittsburgh winning the division and Baltimore making the playoffs as a wild card team.
I'll have to go with Pittsburgh and Baltimore. With the wild card, it's sometimes difficult to pick, but I think that Baltimore will definitely be a team that's in the running. I think they have one of the better shots right now as it is.
Yeah, I got the same way. I mean, if I had to pick one right now, I'd have to say I'd have to go with Pittsburgh as the division winner.
Okay.
And I have, again, the wild card with Baltimore coming in the back there.
All right.
But I feel like Baltimore can do it. I really feel like they can if they catch fire at the right time. They got enough.
It was just some of the games they bounced. They didn't bounce the right way. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Moving on to the AFC South now. Now the AFC South last year extremely competitive. Theoretically, the Titans should have won the division, but the injury to Marcus Mariota pretty much hindered that. However, just because the Titans got unlucky does not mean that the Texans are bad as a football team. So they won the division at 9-7. So the Texans won at 9-7. Titans had a 9-7 record, and the Colts had an 8-8 record. So this division is very winnable with just 9-8 wins. Now, me personally, I think that the Titans are the best team in that division because they have a competent quarterback, a very, very good quarterback in Marcus Mariota, as well as one of the best up-and-coming offensive lines. The only problem is their defense, for the most part. They just need some pieces there and maybe some weapons on offense. With that being said...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. But with that being said, Houston is not that far behind. They have arguably one of the best defenses in the NFL with Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt and other players on that squad. And then the Colts are in a very interesting team because they can win games. I feel like their defense is so bad that they end up losing these games.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think?
I think this division in itself is going to be one of the tightest divisions, maybe not by records or every team's going 9-7 so far, anything like that. But I think they're going to be this is a toss-up. So you can talk about Baltimore Ravens in the last division not really winning those that one-score games. The same thing happened to the Jaguars. They just didn't win those one-possession games, and statistically, the next season, some more of those games will bounce your way. So I'm looking at the Jacksonville Jaguars actually making a really big leap in this division. I see them and the Titans fighting this one out. I see the Colts doing the same thing, either 8-8, 9-7. They're too interesting. I know Andrew Luck's the quarterback, but I mean, if a quarterback doesn't have an offensive line to protect him, and Andrew Luck just got hurt, so he's out for 6 weeks already. So I just don't see the continuity. It's not going to be there at the beginning of the season. So with a quarterback like Alex, with a quarterback like Andrew Luck, you're going to need rhythm, timing. That's the kind of quarterback that he's going to be. I see the Titans obviously being a favorite in this division, but I'm not sold on the Texans, man. They've always had issues at the quarterback position. I know they have one of the number one rated defenses, maybe a top 5 defense in the league. I can't buy into that system. It's like one of those things where I have to see it to believe it, because they've been said to be that team and they still haven't proved it. They're basically the Cincinnati Bengals of the AFC South in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that, but you can never take your eye off the Houston Texans, because their defense is deadly. They're basically a quarterback away from winning their division, and they could have just drafted that quarterback in Deshaun Watson.
No, you think he's going to get it right now?
Well, no, I don't.
He's going to jump in.
I don't think he's gonna get the starting nod right now, but you never know. I personally think that the sexy pick is the Tennessee Titans. It's gotta be.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the team that everybody's talking about. They are the team with the stud quarterback. They are the team with a really good defense. They just drafted Corey Davis at wide receiver.
However, the one thing, sorry to cut you off, Hank, but I have to bring this up.
Okay, yeah.
The Texans are 5-1. They were 5-1 last year in their division. So and Tennessee was 2-4. So if I'm Tennessee, I am picking Tennessee to win this division. However, we don't know what Deshaun Watson is going to be, and I don't expect him to do much in his first year.
Mm-hmm.
But hypothetically,
about Dak Prescott though, they didn't.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. If he ends up becoming a player like a Carson Wentz or a Dak Prescott, where he makes an impact with the team, not necessarily like if they go 9-7, 10-6, which they definitely can.
Yeah.
Then Houston is a legitimate threat in the playoffs, because if all they were needing was a competent quarterback to lead them, and they could have possibly beat the New England Patriots. I don't think they would have, but they had that chance.
Whoa.
Well, I don't think they're going to beat the New England Patriots, but they definitely.
Oh, no, not this year.
They definitely have a chance to compete with the Patriots.
I was talking about last year, yeah.
Yeah, and I still don't think they'll beat them last year. The Patriots were on a roll. They were doing their normal thing. Nobody was going to beat the Patriots last year. Nobody. But I still think Jacksonville, I'm serious, as a dark horse in this race, I think they could go 10-6 this year. Now, I'm more leaning towards the 9-7, but 10-6 on the best case scenario.
Their issue is the fact that Blake Bortles has proven that he can't succeed in this league. I mean, he's proven that he can't, that like it's his third or fourth season in the NFL, and his mechanics are worse than Carson Wentz's.
Yeah, I just have a hard time believing that, man, because he had something his second year.
Well, granted,
mechanics aren't everything, man. He did have a little bit of an impact.
Most of that came from the fact that the Jaguars were like always behind.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that, but I have to say a lot about pocket presence. He does have a pretty good pocket presence when it's just a 3-step to a 5-step and power through. The dude has a cannon. Now, granted, he's done it for 3 years, and we need to see something. I think this is make or break year.
So did
make or break year right now.
So did Jeff George. I think
Collins.
I think you look at a Blake Bortles, and I think that his best shot is turning out like an Alex Smith.
Well, that's what he's going through already. He's going through all these coordinators, these offensive coordinators.
Because I think Jacksonville was hoping And I think this is the problem. Excuse me. I think Gus Bradley, their former coach, was banking on Blake Bortles to be the guy, like day one, like a Carson Wentz kind of guy, where look, you're the face of the franchise. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, at least Carson Wentz had more stuff around him. With Blake Bortles, he had nothing around him.
Carson Wentz. Wait. Carson Wentz had something around him?
I'm talking about having like a team. I'm talking about as a team as a whole. Like he had a good defense, a decent offensive. You get what I'm saying?
Our defense.
Blake
sucks.
Bortles didn't have it.
I feel like
whatever.
I feel like
move
Blake
on.
Bortles had a better defense than Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
That's
but
just me.
I beg to disagree, but we got to move on. So we got to move on. So
East, right?
yes, but before we do that, just final picks. Who do you have winning the AFC South? Any wildcard teams? I got the Tennessee Titans.
I have the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I have the Tennessee Titans with a possibility that Houston can make a run at the playoffs.
I'm going to go dark horse here.
I think a team like Houston and a team like I feel like a team like Houston and a team like Kansas City will be fighting for that 6th seed. You know.
All right, so let's move on to the AFC East. This division pretty much on lockdown with the New England Patriots reigning.
Are you kidding? The Jets are going to win that division.
Obviously.
Go Christian Hackenberg. Go throw the football at a member of the media.
See, that's right, you, buddy. 0.
But with that being said, the New England Patriots are 14-2. For the most part, they looked unstoppable. No one could stop them. But an interesting thing happened. Out of that division, Miami came out and got their first playoff berth since I was in middle school. Now,
that was like last year, right?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just
No,
kidding.
bro. When I'm looking at this division, I'll be honest, I only see New England coming out of it. The only reason I say that is because if you look at the wild card spots, theoretically, no one's going to win that division unless New England explodes and the stadium crumbles and Tom Brady dies in a car crash. You get the point.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, this would be a short one to pick. I'm going to make my pick right now. I have, like you said, the only people I know coming out of this division is going to be the New England Patriots. Everyone else is finishing below 500.
Well,
yeah,
especially with Tannehill getting injured and what he decided, he opted out of surgery in the off season, so now he's injured, and basically the Miami Dolphins are trying to sign Jay Cutler.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think Miami I wasn't really high on Ryan Tannehill, but to be fair, they did manage to win with the backup. But again, I don't think they're gonna catch lightning in a bottle again.
Yeah.
So
it's
easy pick, New England Patriots.
The major issue is the fact that the New England Patriots are amazing, and everyone else just bows down to them. I think really the closest in talent a team has really gotten against New England over the past 6 years, I'm going to say has been the 2014 Buffalo Bills, who went 9-7 and actually had one of the better defenses in the NFL. But there have been teams who have had better record, like Miami. But Miami, in my opinion, is not beating New England. I'm sorry.
No, I see the same thing.
I mean, they might beat them, but they're not going to take over the division.
Now, here's a better question in this division here. I know the Patriots will go 8-0 in this division, which begs to differ.
6-0.
Wait, 8-0. Wait, I was going to say 8-0.
Sorry, 6-0, which begs the question: can they go 16-0 again?
I don't. This is the thing. That is such a hard thing to do. I know New England can do it. Trust me. But I think someone is going to get them. I think, but look, I'm not giving any nods.
You know how hard it is to go 6-0 in your division? Like, I remember one year the Eagles did it, and that's the only time I can think of besides the 2007.
But that's because all the teams sucked.
I mean, even when the Patriots won that year in 2004, they still lost to the Miami Dolphins at the end of the season. It is so difficult. I don't think that the Patriots have ever won the Super Bowl and have been 6-0 in their division.
Okay, well, I'm telling you, man, this team is going either 15-1 or 16-0.
All right.
So let's move on to the next division here. We got the AFC.
All right, right? The final division for the AFC is the AFC West, arguably the most competitive division. I keep saying they're all competitive, but that's the glory so far that you're getting out of the AFC. Last year, Oakland was steamrolling their way to an AFC West title. Then Derek Carr broke his leg. Now, the thing is
because DJ showed up to the game.
Okay, no, let's talk about that after Ricky goes into that.
Okay, so anyways, both these teams managed to make the playoffs. Kansas City had a chance to put the game into overtime against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and yet they failed in classic Chiefs fashion. As for the Oakland Raiders, they basically, unfortunately, we didn't know what exactly that team was going to be in the playoffs because we never saw them at full potential. Now this squad has beast mode, a fully healthy Derek Carr, and pretty much the team is going into the season as pretty much the favorites in that division.
Yeah.
However, you do have the Chargers, which look as an interesting team, and the Broncos as well. All four of these teams can challenge one another. I don't think that Oakland's going to go 12-4 again. However, or the Chiefs, but someone is definitely winning more than 10 games. Arguably 11 or 13.
Two teams could win more than 10 games.
Oh, absolutely. So I'll just do mine real quick, my prediction. I think Oakland will win the division, winning 13 games. That's my bold prediction, 13 games. And my second wild card team is the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, so as Hank was mentioning earlier, I am one of the main reasons why the Raiders can't really keep a franchise quarterback, because every time I go to see a game, it seems like the guys break their legs, they break the collarbone, something happens. I've been to 3 games in the past about 6 seasons, and each game I went to, quarterback, broken leg, quarterback, broken collarbone. So you can imagine my mom not wanting to take me to more Raider games. But as far as the AFC West is concerned, I have the Oakland Raiders. They're heads above the rest in this division. I know everybody's saying Kansas City give them a run, but it seems like there's a little bit of turmoil in Kansas City, a little bit of drama. There ain't no drama here in Oakland. They are to the point. These guys are firing on all cylinders. I've been hearing what's going on in training camp. It's something special to see a Raiders offense with so many weapons to go to. You could literally, Derek Carr could just go blindfolded, throw it somewhere, and there's a 50% chance someone's going to catch it, or even throw it behind into Marshawn Lynch. You're going to get some positive yards out of it. As far as the rest of the division's concerned, I don't see the Los Angeles Chargers making a big stir, but I see them actually getting 9-7 over the Kansas City Chiefs, which I think will go 8-8. Denver Broncos. A lot of people think they'll give a chance at the Raiders. I think they will. They might win one game against the Raiders inside the division, but I have them going 7-9, and they're the bottom of this division. I result that to quarterback play, as in I don't really trust Trevor Siemian. He seems like a poor man's Tim Tebow.
Yeah, well, okay, look, at least he could throw the football deep.
Well, Tim Tebow won a playoff game. I don't see Trevor Siemian doing that.
Yeah, but that was because that's a whole different thing. But the thing is,
my major issue with Denver, and now Denver is a very interesting team because they probably have the most complete defense. They've got really good receivers, and they have running backs who seem to come out of nowhere.
And wide receivers. Yeah, they have pretty much all the... They are like in the same position the Texans are in.
Yeah.
They don't have the quarterback that can take them over the top. Like, Like, I would make a hot take, and Denver's definitely my wild card. Not like wild card. They're making the playoffs. They're the interesting team where, let's say hypothetically, either Simeon or Lynch can do good. This team can win 12 games. Yeah. Like, this team can definitely be competitive. It's because the defense is
they're interesting. I'd like to see how they do under their new head coach, but it's interesting because last year they were coming off as the Super Bowl champions, and I remember coming out and saying they're not going to make the playoffs. Now I said that they were going to go 8-8, but I mean I was off by one game, but I said that they weren't going to make the playoffs, and a lot of people laughed at me because I said that, and I think they just have to prove it to me before I can say it. You know? Exactly.
I mean, the Denver Broncos are the wild card team in that we don't know what the quarterback position is going to look like. If they could end up being what, I'm not saying they're going to be on the level of Peyton Manning was, but I'm saying if they can be as effective and that like they can manage the offense and work with the receivers, Denver can be a competitive team in this conference.
They can.
So,
I also equate right now the San Diego Chargers to being kind of like the Washington Redskins. I just don't know where they're going to end up. They could end up with 9 wins. They could end up with 4 wins, and you just don't know. Like I think that they're a team that's building a lot of talent. I believe they just lost an offensive lineman for the rest of the season, right?
I believe so. I don't remember his name.
Something Lamp.
Yeah, the Lamp dude.
Yeah,
like Forrest Lamp.
I love Lamp. I love Lamp.
Well, Hank, I got to tell you right now, buddy. I'm gonna throw a flag on you every time you say San Diego.
I don't care. I'm gonna say San. Yeah, I think.
Dude, they're San Diego to me, no matter what. Like, even if they're in LA, they're
close enough.
Always gonna be San Diego to me.
Yeah.
I will agree that it's either gonna be Oakland. I know it's boring, but it's either gonna be Oakland or Kansas City.
I mean, as of right now.
I mean, anything could happen, but
it's
hard to pick one of those two teams.
So I want to try and move on to the NFC. So before we do, final predictions for the AFC West. Any wild card teams and the division winner.
I'll go Raiders in first place. I'll go Chiefs in second place. Chargers in third place. Broncos in fourth place. I don't know.
The record might not. Yeah.
I just have to throw a team in there. Like, I have to switch. I just have to switch it up a little bit. And I'm not saying that's like, oh, it's gonna happen. I'm actually really bad at predictions. So
yeah. All right, and okay, DJ, your predictions for the AFC West. Hello.
Just go for it.
I already said my prediction. Oakland is going to win the division, and Kansas City is going to be the wild card team.
Okay, so I got mine here. Okay. I got Oakland, obviously winning the division. I don't see Kansas City having a very good year this year. I think they're going to fight it out with Denver, but I think the LA Chargers are actually going to finish above Kansas City and also Denver.
Okay, so now let's change conferences. We're moving over to the NFC. So to start off, we're going to talk about the AFC North. I'll be honest, like the Detroit Lions last year, the Detroit Lions had the division in their hand and they choked it away. They lost 3 games in a row, and including the NFC North Championship game, and it was in Detroit as well. So looking at this is the Green Bay Packers division to lose. Clearly, as long as Aaron Rodgers is behind that offensive line of the Packers, that team will always be competitive and in that division as well as the entire conference for that matter. And no matter what the record is, as long as they're in the playoffs, Green Bay can cause trouble, as we saw last year. Now, me personally, I only have one team winning that division, and that is the Green Bay Packers. I think Detroit is going to take a step back. They're going to miss the playoffs. Minnesota, I just don't think Sam Bradford's going to get it done. And Chicago, no. So with that being said, what do you guys think about the AFC North?
The Packers could win their division at 8-7-1. That's ridiculous. So I think the Packers are going to win that division until somebody claims it. They'll definitely, even if they don't win the division, they'll definitely go to the playoffs. It's
the closest team. Sorry to cut you off, but the closest team. If Teddy Bridgewater comes back and is fully healthy and everything works out for Minnesota, they are the second best team in that division. Because if you remember, and yeah, they had Adrian Peterson, and he had a fantastic season in 2015. But outside of all the other teams, Minnesota is pretty much the only one that could challenge Green Bay if everything's good.
Yeah.
So I feel the same way. I think obviously Green Bay is going to take the division some way, shape, or form. They might lose the first 6 games or something, but come back and win the next 10. Who knows? But I feel that, like you said, it all kind of hinges on Teddy Bridgewater coming back, because that would make the Minnesota Vikings the obvious second favorite there. But I mean, I can't. As much as the Lions are this like enigma where they just can't seem to find something, kind of like the Browns and everything. But I believe in Matthew Stafford. I believe he has the arm. And I know their defense is tough, but they could be the second best team in that division. I see that. I could see that.
They could, but I don't know. I don't see Detroit going to the playoffs in back-to-back years.
No, so I wasn't saying they were going to make the wild card or anything. I just think that if you had to put a second-place team there, and if Teddy Bridgewater doesn't come back, I'll put the Detroit Lions there.
I think regardless, if Sam Bradford plays the whole season, he's winning 7 games.
Not Sam Bradford. Oh wait, for the Minnesota Vikings.
For the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are going to win 7. Well, Sam Bradford by himself is going to win 7 games because that's what he does. He's 7-win Sam. But I mean, it's just like Jeff Fisher. He's probably just screaming, "We're not going 7-9 this season."
I know. He went 4-9.
But I like Minnesota. I think they've upgraded a lot of their positions. They've upgraded the running back position as it is right now. Hopefully their offensive line clicks, and hopefully their Mike Zimmer. Hopefully his eye is better.
Okay, so before we move on, are we all in agreement? The Green Bay Packers will win the AFC North unless something cataclysmic happens.
No, I think the Bears will win the NFC North.
Okay, obviously, yeah.
Hot take.
Hot take.
Okay, so let's move on to the NFC South. This division is hecka crazy. Yeah. They have the previous 2 NFC champions in the Carolina Panthers and Atlanta Falcons, and both of them they're interesting because here's why. Carolina, 15-1, prohibited favorite to win the Super Bowl, loses 24-10. Okay. Then we have Atlanta pretty much steamroll through the NFC playoffs, which I think they would have done to Dallas even if Dallas won against Green Bay. And you know what happens? Of 25 points with the third quarter dying down, and they choke it. Now, that being said,
the words or the characters that will be written on every Atlanta Falcons fan's tombstones will be 28-3.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Okay, so looking at this, it appears that pretty much. I know the records might not say it, but anyone can win this division. Yes, I believe Atlanta is hands down the most talented team with what they have on their roster. However, it's a matter of how are they over their Super Bowl loss? Can they translate more success, back? Will they suffer the Carolina effect? We'll have to see. Me personally, I think Atlanta is going to win the division. Do I think they're going to win 11 games? I think they're going to win probably 10, but I see Atlanta making the playoffs again. But It's just a matter of if the Saints defense could play good. If Carolina has everything all together. I think Tampa Bay is going to make the playoffs this year as either a division champion or a wild card team. So, what do you guys think?
I'm going with Tampa too. Tampa to me is going to win the division. I think that there will be some drop off from Atlanta. We were doing this. We were talking about the Falcons or something earlier in the year, and I think I said that the Falcons weren't going to be as good. They basically lost their staple offensive coordinator, and now their offensive coordinator is Alabama's former offensive coordinator, Steve Sarkisian.
Mm-hmm. You know, they might suffer what the Browns suffered. I mean, not the Browns, excuse me, the Bengals.
Yeah.
Hold on here. Sarkisian was the offensive coordinator for the championship game. He was the assistant offensive coordinator the whole rest of the season. So
that was his last position. So I think there's going to be a lot of drop off. I think their defense is still stacked though. I think they have a ridiculous defense. The issue with the Super Bowl, losing the Super Bowl, is that some teams that lose the Super Bowl end up having that kind of after effect.
The hangover.
The hangover. And the Panthers had that last year. Like, Cam Newton threw 40-something odd touchdowns, and then they get Kelvin Benjamin back. They get a bunch of players back, and they lose Josh Norman, but they just fell off the map completely, like Kersplat.
Oh, absolutely.
It's ridiculous. I think it's gonna be Tampa, and it's either gonna be. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know who's gonna be next.
My thing is, I know that there are Super Bowl hangovers, but I don't think that this is going to happen to the Atlanta Falcons. I see the Atlanta Falcons win 11 games. They're going 11-5 this year. They're going to win the division again. I think Tampa comes in at second there. I really hope Drew Brees turns it around. I really do. I think him and Tampa are going to battle it out for that second spot there in the wild card. The NFC is just not stacked like it once was, man. I think Dan Quinn is a very even-tempered guy. I think that his team will show that with his quarterback, Matty Ice. They have too much talent on the offensive side, and like you guys said, they're stacked on the defensive side. I mean,
yeah, so was Carolina.
No, but Carolina has a quarterback who is a diva, and they all feed off that.
But they had so much. They were by far the best offense that year, by far.
Yeah, you're right. You're
right.
With Cam Newton had Luke Kuechly go down. I think one of his running backs went down too. The Atlanta Falcons are stacked.
Yeah, but that was
their roster.
They were going downhill before that ever happened.
You're right. You're right. But again, because I'm just saying, Matty Ice is more of a stable quarterback, or not mentally, but it's not as emotional.
I just think
they feel the effects when Cam Newton is not happy.
I just think there's too much parity in that division for the same.
I just don't see it with Atlanta
for the same team to be winning the division every year. I know. Hold on. I do know that Carolina did win the division 3 years in a row, but mind you, one of those years they were 7-8-1.
Yeah, and clearly anybody could have won that division.
I consider that them winning the division. But they I'm not saying they shouldn't have won the division, but in a situation where, say, it's like you're picking the best 6 teams in the NFC to go to the playoffs, they wouldn't have gone. And I know they beat the Cardinals in the playoffs, but understand the Cardinals were playing Drew Stanton. You know? They weren't playing Carson Palmer. So they were playing a third-string quarterback, I believe, at that point in time. All right,
so we got to try and hurry up and save some time for our last division, being the NFC. So final predictions for the NFC South. I'll be honest, I only see one. I know I said the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are probably going to get a wild card, but me personally, I think that this division is going to be competitive. I have Atlanta repeating as NFC South champions.
Okay, I also have Atlanta, and I have Tampa as a close second with the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning the division. I'll go with Atlanta at second place, and then the Saints at third. It's just the Panthers. The Panthers still have a lot of talent, though. The Panthers. I think that Christian McCaffrey is going to be a decent player. That this division is just too close for me to call. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
I would throw darts at a dartboard for that second, third, and fourth spot. Really. Like it's too close for me to call. But I do have the Buccaneers coming out as division winners, possibly 10-6, possibly 11-5.
Okay, let's move on to an easy division to predict. NFC West. Seattle has been for the recent memory, outside of the 1 year in 2015, have been the dominant team in the NFC West. And they've been only one recent, other than the Patriots and the Broncos, but that's besides the point, to not really have a Super Bowl hangover. However, they're not as dominant as they once were. I'll be honest, Seattle's going to win this division hands down as long as Russell Wilson stays healthy and the offensive line can block for him. I mean, the defense is way too dominant. I know it's getting older, so I'm not saying they're going to be world beaters by any means. However, for the Rams are a long way. They got pieces, the Rams, but it's just a matter of how that's going to translate. San Francisco's in rebuild mode. We don't know what they're going to look like. And the only team that could challenge them in the Arizona Cardinals, if Carson Palmer is not suffering the Brett Favre effect, in which the more you get older, or Peyton Manning effect, whatever you want to call it, him getting older and him being less aware. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but I think when it comes to the Arizona Cardinals, it comes down to how he plays at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I just see Seattle winning this division hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see the same thing. Not hands down. I think the Cardinals are going to put up a decent fight. I think this is going to be one of the divisions where you're going to have two at it because the two bottom teams are so deplorable at the moment. I think that the Niners might surprise some people with a couple wins. I'm not saying they're going to go higher than 6-11. I think Kyle Shanahan can work with Brian Hoyer. He's done it before in Cleveland. So that's a familiarity there. He seems to be picking up the offense pretty much like he did in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. I don't see the Rams really doing too much. Again, they're probably going to go with Goff after his first year and see what's going on. But I don't think they surprise anybody. Like I said, 10-6 for. Let's say the last game comes down to Arizona and Seattle. One of them goes 11-5. The other goes 10-6. That's what I see.
I think the Rams offensively are really going to surprise a lot of people. Their current head coach was an offensive genius who basically got Kirk Cousins to be like a 4,800 yard passer.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an innovator here. Now I think Kirk Cousins is a mountains better quarterback than Jared Goff is ever gonna be, but you just never know. And again, I hate to play this game of we're gonna pick the same team to win year after year. I'm just getting sick of that for this thing. But Seattle just looks until someone dethrones Seattle. They've been from 2013 to 2016. They've won the division every year.
Except for 2015.
2015, that's true. Almost easily, too.
Yeah.
But
it's not because Seattle's... Well, they're good. It's because their division is so weak, similar to the Patriots.
Well, their division used to be strong, though.
Oh, yeah. No, I understand.
Yeah.
So, I'm assuming we're all going with Seattle to win the division.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so finally, the moment everyone's been waiting for... The NFC East preview.
DJ just wishes the Browns were in the AFC or the NFC East.
Yeah, you know what? We'd probably be better.
All right, here we go.
You probably would be.
The NFC East is hands down back with it being the most competitive division in football.
Oh,
because the reason, listen, see the dog agrees with
Waffles me. Didn't like that. Waffles didn't like that. He didn't like that at all.
Okay, so basically, you have the Dallas Cowboys surprising the world and going at 13-3, not because they're talented, but because of rookies. And then you had the New York Giants. Basically, people you would have known it. What the New York Giants ended up coming down to was how well Eli played, and Eli pretty much played well enough for the Giants to make the playoffs. I'm not saying that as a bad thing. I got to give the Giants all credit. Their defense is one of the best in the league, and all that matters is can Eli be good? And this year he managed to do that. However, and this is my bold prediction, I have 3 playoff teams coming out of the NFC East. 3.
Dang.
I got Dallas as the division winner, and don't think they're going 13-3 again, because you got to hear me out. I got Dallas winning the division, and then I got the Giants finishing in second, and the Philadelphia Eagles finishing in third place. Now, I think they're all going to be 11, 5, 10, and 6. It just comes down to tiebreakers and how they play each other in the division. And keep in mind that I know I might be saying, "Oh, you're a Cowboys fan, so you're saying they're going to win the division." Listen. Pretty much, it doesn't matter who wins. Yeah, sure, you get a home playoff game. I think, at the end of the day, the Giants are capable of winning a playoff game. Dallas is definitely capable of winning a playoff game. It all depends on how Dallas does on defense, and that's the biggest question mark. Philadelphia, I don't know yet, but trust me, I have, I know this might seem crazy, but I do see 3 playoff teams coming out of the NFC East. Whether, it doesn't matter of the order, I do have Dallas winning the division, but you know what I mean? At that point, it doesn't matter. So, yeet. Go ahead, guys.
I personally, I go back and forth. Usually the team that I pick to win the NFC East usually doesn't win the NFC East. I'm the kiss of death for your franchise. I think that at the beginning of the offseason, I was picking the Cowboys to win the division, but right now, the Giants to me are a little bit overrated in the sense of they're the best team on paper. Besides offensive line and running back, they really don't have much of a weak spot on their team. Their safeties are good. Their safeties are great. Their corners are great. Their linebackers are great. Their D-line is They've got a future Hall of Fame quarterback. They've got great receivers. I mean, even pending what's going to happen to Sterling Shepard, I think that they're a complete team, but the issue is last year they were supposed to excel at the offense, and they ended up being really good on defense and really not that good at offense. So I think that the Dallas will be in second place and still go to the playoffs, holding their own. Yeah. But they need to beat the Giants. I mean, the 2 showings that they had against the Giants last year was very un-Dallas-like. Those were probably their worst games.
And not only that, there were divisional games, and pretty much either team could have won the game. And I'm not trying to be as an excuse. In all seriousness, though, one of the games was decided by 3 points, and it was 10-7. Yeah. The other was by 1 point.
Yeah.
Theoretically,
the issue they could split. The issue was the fact that the Giants played the Cowboys in close, low-scoring games. And
that's how you. Yeah,
that was how you beat them. The only other game they lost was a game that they kind of conceded to the Eagles in Week 17.
Let's stop kidding ourselves here, guys. We all know what's going to happen here. Dallas will end up winning the division, and Hank, I think it's cute that you won't pick Dallas to win it, but you'll pick New York to win it. But I know that Dallas will win the division, but it's not going to be as far apart. I mean, you guys, a lot of people think like Dallas is going to run away with this. No, I think it's going to come down to New York and Dallas like it normally does. I see the division winner being going 10-6. I think there's going to be a sophomore slump for Mr. Prescott. Will I see the same effect for Ezekiel? I don't know. We'll see how he handled this offseason. Because right now it seems to be that you guys have a little bit more issues with the system than you really do with your on the field. So I don't know how that's going to react, and that could be a factor in where the Giants could sneak in there. I'm just not sold on anything really changing in the NFC East. I think that the third place team could be either the Eagles. That division has the most parity out of any division.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I had Dallas, New York, and Philadelphia making the playoffs. But this is the thing, I talked about this.
Remember the fact
Dak Prescott. It is impossible for Dak Prescott to have a sophomore slump. It's going to come down to how the defense plays. Like Dallas won't lose games because maybe.
I wouldn't say it's impossible.
Yeah, that's about the same.
I know. I'm not. No. You know what I was trying to say. I was trying to say is it's extremely unlikely, but it is still possible. That's what I was trying to get across. My bad.
You tell me there's a chance,
right?
But this is the thing. Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing. Dallas is being held back by their defense. New York's being held back by their offensive line, and Philly's being held back by their cornerbacks. If these teams can figure out their problems there, either of them can win the division. Yeah. I mean, like I said, but all the teams in this division are capable of winning the division and going to the playoffs.
Meanwhile, Washington gets no credit, and they still have a pretty good team.
I think it's just because of this is why I didn't pick Washington. In their last game of the season, it was win and get in. And they lost to the New York Giants in a game that the Giants didn't even need to win.
Yeah.
I don't have that trust with the Washington Redskins yet because they're like how the Cowboys were when they were going 8-8, 8-8. I had not established trust with the team to make the next step forward. Even when the 2014 season came around, they went 12-4. I originally had them going 6-10. I felt like that team I did not trust the team yet. If Washington can prove me wrong, then I will gladly pick them. But that isn't the case yet. So I think we're going to move on.
So basically, this footage is unusable, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So before we move on to Super Bowl predictions and award winners, and final predictions for the NFC East. I have Dallas winning the division. Huge margins. Probably going to come down to tiebreakers. New York having second place and a wild card spot, and Philly having a wild card spot.
I'm going to have Philadelphia not getting in. I think the Giants and Cowboys. I think the NFC is pretty weak this year.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Giants winning it, and the Dallas Cowboys both making the playoffs. The Eagles will. I think the Eagles. I had the Eagles going 9-7, and I think the Redskins will go 7-9, 8-8.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, okay. So now, the moment everyone's been waiting for: Super Bowl predictions. I'll be honest.
Should we go through the playoffs? Should we go through the playoffs, or?
Well, that's kind of hard because we all have different predictions. Okay. So, I didn't want to overcomplicated because then we would have to go through everyone's prediction. Okay. How about this? We'll make this simpler. First of all, no, forget it because that's going to take way too long. I was going to say, who do you think is going to make the conference championship games? I don't want to take too long with this because we got to get into other things. Mm. Super Bowl predictions. Don't call me a homer, but
Homer.
This is the one I gotta say. Okay, if Dallas makes the play, and if any of these teams make the playoffs, they have a chance. But here's the thing: if Dallas runs into either Atlanta or Green Bay, they will not make the Super Bowl until they can prove me otherwise. However,
you believe they won't.
What's up?
You believe they won't.
I don't think they will because I feel as if Green Bay or Atlanta will cancel each other out, or at some point or another. I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know. But I have Dallas making it to the Super Bowl. Trust me, I'm not saying they're gonna blow teams out through the playoffs. I just think if you look at Dallas, if their defense, if it's a repeat of what happened in that Packers playoff game, heck no, they're not making the Super Bowl because that defense crumbled at the end. However, I have faith in Mr. Dak Prescott and managing to win games. And listen, that Dallas offense looks deadly if everything is intact and no one gets hurt. And that's something Dallas had a blessing last season. No one major got hurt for the most part. Mm-hmm. So I have Dallas squeaking it into the Super Bowl against the Oakland Raiders. And the reason I have the Oakland Raiders as a Super Bowl pick is because I feel they are the only team outside of the Steelers that can match up extremely well with the New England Patriots. They have a quarterback in Derek Carr that's the second coming of Aaron Rodgers, it looks as if. And the thing is we don't know how Tom Brady's going to play. I think he's going to be fine. Don't worry. However, if New England ends up and this is also a thing, if New England does not get home field advantage throughout the playoffs, I don't think they're making it.
No, they're not. They basically have to make home field advantage.
That's why when I said the Oakland Raiders were going to win 13 games, I had them winning home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and they were going to make it to the Super Bowl. And I know people are going to call me crazy. I cannot believe that you're picking the Cowboys, and I want to thank this guy in the comments because that just reminded me of Jalen Smith. Thank you, your boy Scotty. Jalen Smith is the biggest wild card on that Dallas defense. If he turns into anything, oh my god. So okay. I'm sorry I've been talking for so long. But I wanted to explain myself.
He's going to turn into a dragon and
go ahead,
wings.
Dallas versus Oakland. That's what I got.
So mine is going to be, my feeling is I think that Green Bay is going to find a way over the hump, and it's going to be Green Bay versus Oakland.
Okay.
I think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers 1.0 versus Aaron Rodgers 2.0.
Nice. Okay. I'm going to just give you guys real quick my just top six, and I'll give you my Super Bowl prediction. I have the Chargers at the 6th seed, Titans at the 3, Ravens at the 5 seed. I got the Raiders coming in at the 2nd seed. The Titans at the 5th seed, and I have in the AFC Championship game, the Patriots and the Raiders. As far as my NFC Championship game, I have the Packers and the Falcons. I have the Raiders playing the Falcons next year. I think the Raiders could get over that Patriots up, and I really feel you guys on the Green Bay pick. I think they're primed to be one of the most veteran teams in the NFC right now. Aaron Rodgers has got to be on a warpath for his next Super Bowl. I think the only other outcome I see is going to be either the Patriots go to the Super Bowl against Aaron Rodgers or the Raiders go to the Super Bowl against Aaron Rodgers.
This is my okay. So I'm assuming. So wait, you're picking Green Bay versus?
I said the Falcons in the beginning.
Okay, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
that was a mistake. I meant to say that the Green Bay Packers will make the Super Bowl against either the Raiders or the Patriots.
Now, before we move on, I want to also bring this up. Do not sleep on the Steelers. If they can stay healthy and that squad come together, Pittsburgh I would definitely favor Pittsburgh because their offense is deadly. It all comes down to that defense. Same thing with the Cowboys. If their defense can stand up by any look, Dallas won 13 games with pretty much a pretty mediocre defense, in my opinion. And if Dallas's defense can somewhat improve off of last year, I'm not saying they're going to go 13-3 by any stretch. Just because your record is worse does not mean your team is by any means not talented. I mean, look at the Atlanta Falcons, for example. 11-5, but they're one of the greatest offenses that we have ever seen.
Yeah.
All right, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Cowboys versus Steelers, but
yeah.
Finally, let's move on because I know you guys got to head out.
Yeah.
Finally, okay. Should we skip our should we skip our award winners and go straight to buy or sell?
No, we can do the award winners. It'll take like
okay, I'm sorry. I'm okay, my bad.
Good.
I didn't know.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
So, first things first. MVP, who do you guys win MVP and why?
Derek Carr.
I got Derek Carr too.
I mean, there's no reason. It's like self-explanatory.
That's barring injury. It's either him or Aaron Rodgers.
I think he's gonna take that step and throw like 40, 45 touchdowns.
I see that too, man. I really do. I see Derek Carr is, like I said, barring injury. I know I hate to bring up old wounds with quarterbacks getting injured, with Derek Carr getting injured. I'm not saying he's injury prone, but a freak accident is a freak accident. It can happen to anyone. So, barring an injury, Derek Carr. If not, Aaron Rodgers.
You guys are going to think I'm freaking crazy. I have...
He's going to say Dak Prescott, isn't he?
I have Le'Veon Bell winning MVP.
Oh, okay.
He's not even going to come to camp.
No. Let me explain. He'll win MVP because if the Pittsburgh Steelers are not going to re-sign him, they will run him into the ground. And he is probably, outside of David Johnson, the next coming of Barry Sanders in terms of his shiftiness and how he can run the football. I have Le'Veon Bell rushing for over 2,000 yards. And that's why he'll win MVP. Because if the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do what I think they're going to do and run him into the ground and not re-sign him, then he's going to win MVP because of that. I have Le'Veon Bell as my league MVP.
At the same time, Pittsburgh Steelers breed running backs. I mean, who remembers Willie Parker? And then after Willie Parker, it was Rashard Mendenhall. You know?
Mm-hmm.
They just
they
build offensive line really well. So MVP, so that's the MVP.
And if I had to pick a quarterback, I'm going with Tom Brady. But offensive rookie of the year. I'm gonna go with Leonard Fournette. Mainly because it's the same thing like I said with Le'Veon Bell winning MVP. Because Fournette is pretty much outside of Blake Bortles and a couple pieces the only serious weapon that the Jaguars have on offense, and so he's gonna put up major numbers because of that. So I mean, yeah.
I'm gonna go with, if he's healthy, Corey Davis. I think he'll be a beast.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my personal opinion. I think he's gonna gel well with Marcus Mariota.
I'd have to go. I mean, if Leonard Fournette, I have to go offensive rookie of the year there. Yeah.
Okay. Now, for the final player award, and then we're gonna do who we think is gonna win Coach of the Year after this. Yeah. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Myles Garrett, hands down. The dude is gonna be, I think, because of the situation he's in, and basically. Yeah, his situation is going to make him the forefront of the Browns' defense for the most part. I don't
think it's going to be Myles Garrett. And Ricky, you're really going to love what I'm about to say.
I think I might know who you're
thinking. The defensive Rookie of the Year is going to be Chidobe Awuzie.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I wanted the Eagles to draft him. I'm high on this guy. I think he's going to make the Dallas Cowboys defense. I think he's going to force more turnovers. I really do.
I want to also talk about that because I only say Myles Garrett is the reason why I say that is because of name recognition. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that being disrespectful to Chidobe because I think he's one heck of a player. I just think if you look at the situation Chidobe is in, he could possibly start this year as a rookie, and he could possibly make turnovers. But because of Myles Garrett's name recognition and considering he pretty much is the major star coming out of that draft class for the Browns, who'll have spotlight on him, and that's why I think he'll win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
I mean, we all remember when Mario Williams was drafted, right? Did you know Mario Williams wasn't even the Defensive Rookie of the Year? I think it was DeMeco Ryan.
I think it was D'Amico. Yeah,
and I don't even think D'Amico was a second-round draft pick either. So, yeah, you can go off of name recognition, but who was the offensive rookie of the year last year? Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott. Yeah, but what I mean by that is like, yeah, he got name recognition because of how insanely and well he did. I'm not trying to make any of the other rookies look bad because clearly someone might come out of nowhere and surprise me.
Yeah. All right, DJ, your turn.
Yeah. So, DJ, your defensive rookie of the year.
You know what, guys? I want to be. I think there's going to be a couple on the Browns that will be battling out for defensive rookie of the year. I think Jabril Peppers and Myles Garrett will be battling that out. I really think that the Cleveland Browns defense is the most underrated defense in the NFL as of right now. I think we're going to really turn heads in that space. But my sleeper pick for defensive rookie of the year will be Reuben Foster over in San Francisco. This guy, I've been watching him in training camp, and I've seen some highlights. This guy's an interception machine, and he is working his way up to the first-team reps very, very quickly, and he will be a future part for years to come.
Reuben Foster will either be amazing or he's going to suck.
Yeah, he's the biggest.
Showing amazing stuff right now, I'm telling you.
All right, and now finally, Coach of the Year. Now, because of how I predicted my playoffs to work out, Hank, you're probably going to call me crazy, but I have Doug Peterson winning Coach of the Year, and here's why. Because I think he's... wait a minute. Here's why. Because he... Like, think about it. He brings the Eagles to the playoffs for the first time since 2013. Now, if it's not Doug Peterson, it's going to probably be either whoever the head coach of the Tennessee Titans is,
Mike
or
Malarkey? That's a bunch of malarkey.
Or it's going to be like it's not like if Jason Garrett goes 12-4, he's not going to win it. If Bill Belichick's definitely not going to win it unless they go 16-0 because of his prestige.
Yeah.
I got either Mike Tomlin. I got Mike Tomlin probably as my second or third choice alongside the Tennessee Titans head coach. But Doug Peterson is probably my choice if the Eagles make the playoffs.
They usually don't give Coach of the Year to the coach of the best team. It's really weird.
Yeah.
They usually give it to like an up and coming coach. But you have Mike Tomlin or Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
So I think my personal opinion is going to
Hugh Jackson.
come down to two coaches, and you think I know I might be a homer in this situation, but I'm going Hugh Jackson or Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah. I mean, I think Kyle Shanahan has more of a chance to get that award next year. I don't think the Niners are going to have a winning record this year. I think they're going to.
Well, yeah, I don't see that either. I really don't, but he's been waiting in the wings just like Hugh Jackson.
But understand they're not going to like you said that the Browns are going to go 8-8, right?
Correct.
They're not going to give head coach of the year to a head coach of a team that goes 8-8.
Oh, really? Because the Browns just finished 1-15 the last year.
They're still not. They give that award to coaches of teams that go to the playoffs.
Okay, so the stipulations just said it's not the best coach, but it's not the best team. It's not the middle of the pack.
Hank,
I think there's a lot of other factors that you don't have to make the playoffs. I wouldn't say
if the Browns
1-15 team to go an 8-8 competitive, I think that's a. I don't know. That's
let me explain. If the Browns go 8-8 or 9-7, even if I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. But if they manage to go from 1-15 to 8-8 or 9-7, and he deserves it.
Thank you.
But this is the thing. The thing is, Hank, hit the head on the nail. If you don't make the playoffs, they're not going to probably take you into consideration. But like I said, it's going to come down. If Cleveland goes 6-10, they're not going to give it to Hugh. If they go 8-8 or 9-7, he deserves that award 100%.
I mean,
that's what I feel.
I'm looking at all the head. I'm going to start at 2004. Marty Schottenheimer, the Chargers went to the playoffs. Lovie Smith, the Bears went to the playoffs. Sean Payton, the Saints went to the playoffs. Bill Belichick, the Patriots. Mike Smith, the Falcons. Marvin Lewis, the Bengals. They all went to the playoffs.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree in your assessment.
So you're telling me there's no other team that didn't make the playoffs, and their coach did not get that award.
Yeah,
probably not because
it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. I mean,
okay.
Every one of those teams have
Detroit team. All right, it's fine.
The last time a head coach of a team that didn't go to the playoffs was in 1990, where Jimmy Johnson brought the Dallas Cowboys from 1-15 to 7-9. That was the last time.
Wow, Hank. So there you go. The point made is if the Browns go from 1-15 to 8-8 or 9-7, Hugh Jackson deserves that award.
Yeah, but I think the idea is even though we think he deserves it, I doubt he will get it because of the reputation that's been set of you. Basically, if you don't make the playoffs, if you don't make the playoffs, your season's lost. But not, you know what I mean? It's like it's because of that stigma. That's the problem.
We would have to run the stats on when was the last time. I guess 1990. When was the last time that a coach took a 1-15 team to 8-8 or 9-7? And didn't get the award? Do we have to run the stats on that? Because if this hasn't happened since 1990, where a team was 1-15 got to 8-8, then this could be a situation.
Sorry to cut you off, but I just want to make sure. Do we have enough time for buy or sell or over and under? If not, that's fine.
Let's do one buy or sell. Just one.
Okay. Give me one moment. Come on, man. I just have my notes ready, and the whole thing just decided. Okay, there it is. Hello, notes. Okay. Buy or sell. The NFC East has only one playoff team.
I'm going to sell that. So I think they'll have two.
I sell that too.
I'm going to sell that.
I also don't think that... I don't think there's going to be as much competition from the NFC West and the NFC North. So it's basically down to the NFC South and the NFC East to pick up those other two teams.
And just one over and under question.
Okay.
The 49ers win 5 games.
By
over under.
Over.
Wait.
Over.
I
say over too. I said
over. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. 7-9.
Yeah, 7-9, 6-10.
And hey, I'm telling you, if the 49ers can land Kirk Cousins, that team, they good.
They're going to be so average. And the Redskins are going to suck again. No.
Okay, so I think that about does it. Okay, so anything else, guys, before I'll go ahead and close this out?
No.
Nothing much, guys.
No, not much.
Other than that, thanks for listening.
Yep.
All right, so thanks for listening, guys. I will put the timestamps in the comments. Just make sure to pin that comment when it comes up, Hank.
All right.
So for those that are watching and they want to rewatch some part, they can see our analysis on each division as well as when we start talking about Super Bowl and whatever.
Also, I'm sorry. Yeah. Also, check us out on Facebook as well. We'll have some videos of each division put on there. Hopefully, coming in the next few days. Yeah, check us out, guys.
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm good. So just hopefully. I can't wait for football to start.
Yeah, I think we all have
technically, see the time clock here. I got Sundays off now, so let's game on. Let's play.
Yeet, for the first time ever. For the first time in 3 years.
Yeah, first time since I was 17. But anyways, guys, also keep in touch. We are going to start a fantasy football season here pretty soon, too.
So
we'll give you a couple fantasy tidbits here in the podcast. Look us up on YouTube and Facebook if you want some.
We might have to do this, possibly a 2 birds and a third fantasy football league.
Hey, why not? Why not? Let the fans
we'll work that out.
Playing against us.
We'll work that out. Possibly. I don't know if we're going to do that, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Just, we'll put timestamps below, so if you want to check back with certain things we talked about. So I'm good.
For sure. Everybody, this was awesome, and I hope that everyone has a good night. Good night!
Happy football days.
Woo!